Hi, I'm Joe Connolly. My guest today needs almost no introduction. He's the founder of a men's clothing company, but you may know him better as former Red Sox and Mets great Mo Vaughn, first baseman and MVP player.
Thanks a lot, Howard. Thanks for having me.
And let's start this business, Mo, by talking numbers right off the bat, no pun intended. 328. 328 career home runs that you hit. What percentage of those did you know were out of the park the second you hit them?
I don't know, not a lot. I wish there were more. You know what I mean?
You didn't always know.
You don't always know. I played in a big ballpark in Fenway Park, so I learned to go the other way, which you could make a pretty good guess. But listen, when you're playing and you need every one of them, and you're trying to get your numbers, you're hitting the ball and you're trying to blow it over the fence, however it gets over there, you know what I mean? So, listen, there's been some no-doubters, and that goes by just so fast. It's like it didn't even happen. But the ones where you take a good swing and you've had a good at bat, those are the ones you're kicking like mad to get over that wall anytime.
But you're not always sure. It's like when an amateur like I play golf, you often know when you hit it well. And I thought hitting a home run would be a glorified version of that, but not necessarily.
Well, listen, when you make perfect contact, you know that.
Right.
But that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Sometimes, you got an inside-out of ball. Sometimes, you got to keep the ball. You turn on the ball. You got to keep it fair. There's a lot of things that go into it, but effortless contacts. It's not going to say it's a small percentage, but it's a quarter of the time. That you're swinging that, it's out of there.
And then just to finish on this point, if you made effortless contact, it's still not a guaranteed home run?
I don't know. If you ain't effortless contact, it's hit.
It's hit, so it's a good way to go.
Yeah.
When you were playing, were you interested in business? Were you thinking about starting a business when your playing days were over? Where did this idea come from?
I just knew it wasn't going to, baseball wasn't going to be my final destination or definition of life. I think, you're fortunate to play, till you're 38, 40 years old. Most of us didn't get that chance. I was done at 33. And then you gotta make a life for yourself. So I think for me, knowing that as I was going through the process, helped me get to the process that I'm at right now.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that knowing that, you're very, very fortunate, like I said, to play into your 40s. Usually playing into your 40s, guys, in my position, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. You've done all that you can do in the game, and that's where you are. But that percentage of people just doesn't happen. So you have to have your mind prepared to move on to the next life, and I always did.
How did you transition into business? Did you try a few businesses or know immediately what you were going to do? How did you make the transition?
Listen, we were talking a little bit earlier about, it took me 10 years to be a one-hit wonder, meaning, my real estate business, we started 10 years ago, a few years back, and that became a budding star. But the work and the amount of time and the effort put in is, everybody thinks it just happens overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens in the heat of the night in 24 hours. It takes time. But it's one of those things where you're going to make mistakes, but you got some excess capital. You're going to go out and you're going to try the different businesses, and they don't work. And, hopefully you're smart enough and you're lucky enough to get with some people. I've been lucky to be with some very smart, much smarter than me, and trusted individuals who, showed me the way and showed me how to get things done and taught me, the life of business, and which is completely separate than the life of baseball. In business, you got to be, when it's 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. In baseball, it's like we got a 9 to 11, to get there. Business, 9 o'clock is 8:55. Those are some of the things I had to learn when I started. But hopefully you don't make a lot of mistakes. Get somebody that's trustworthy, and you pick the right type of business that's going to be successful. over the long haul, and it's not easy to find. You can understand why guys make mistakes.
So, how did you settle on a large and tall men's fashion company as the business for you?
Because I was the customer. I got into the real estate business because I thought, affordable housing was necessary and needed. I came to New York where Mayor Bloomberg, and it was something that he was very, very in tune with doing, and that business took off. As I started MVP Collections, I'm looking at what the guy, I'm a 2X tall, and I need a little bit more seat in my jeans because thighs, legs, different things. There was just nothing out there. So I looked at myself and I said, let me go get my partner who has been in the business for 25 years, Diane Bennett, and take my idea to someone that knows, and I know as a customer what's missing. And that's how MVP Collections got started, was me missing clothes, looking for styles and different things that were not in the everyday marketplace that we thought they should be, and trying to get that style into the market for the bigger tall brand, bigger tall size guy. And why not, look what I got on right now. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
This is all MVP stuff.
That's nice.
You know what I mean? So why can't our guy look like the same guy you see walking down the street every day? And that's how this whole thing got started.
Did you say you took your idea to Diane Bennett? Was
Yes.
that the name? How did you get to her, and what did you tell her? Where did that connection happen?
Well, we were family friends, and we've been missing each other because I was going one way, she was going another way, but I was going to keep my mouth closed because I knew what I had was there, but I also knew that I couldn't talk too much because that's how people steal your ideas, and it's like we kept missing parties at certain events and things, and then we finally got a chance to sit around each other. We were at a birthday party overseas. This thing was cultivated overseas, in Italy, matter of fact. And we had a discussion. And then I think she went back, did some reconnaissance on what I was saying, that this was a totally white space that nobody was in, and all the analytics was going to be something that we're going to have to develop ourselves because there's really nothing there to show what the big and tall guy has. And we've been able to do that.
She was in the fashion business?
She's in the fashion business, so I go get me a fashion person.
Right, yeah.
That's whatever you listen. There's a lot of ways. Guys want to do real estate, you go get the best real estate guy. Guys want to do fashion, get the best fashion. Whatever you want to do, we're athletes. We have some business intellect, but you need pros to do what you want to do to be successful. And that's what I try to do.
But how, if you will, how can the guy who's not a former Major League Baseball player open those doors as you did?
Listen, it's tough. Listen, for me, I didn't mind being in front of the camera when I'm playing ball. I don't care. Got my uniform on, I'm at the plate. I kind of look at it like after I retired, it's time for me to step back and step away and let somebody else do those things. But I think my partner in my real estate entity, and Diane and I, we have leveraged Vaughn to get the meetings that we need to get. And I think the main thing is what I've learned is through all that is, ultimately, my name only gets you in the door, but you got to execute the process. And I think that's what I've learned about most importantly is that your name can get you there, but you got to execute the process every day and get things done. And I think when you do that, then you really got an opportunity to do some things.
That's a great lesson, isn't it? That's
you got to execute.
Yeah.
There's nothing can be done without execution. It's, everybody likes Vaughn until, the product's late. And then, it's what the hell's going on? Or, the cut's wrong. Or, things happen that are wrong. Nobody cares about who Vaughn is. They want you to execute the process. And when you do that, that's why we have a chance to be with DXL in 50 stores now. And we have a chance to grow that brand. And we're having, other opportunities, over, to buy and other things that are happening for us because they see now that it's not just, and I always worry about throwing Vaughn out there first because that's how people get lost, in my opinion. Oh, use your name. Okay, well, everybody uses their name, but how many of us execute? That's why I always am where you're throwing out there. But we did execute the process, and that's why we're here.
Now, for instance, today or this week, has there been some, what sounds to me like annoying little detail about the business that you have personally had to handle or make a phone call about? Or, I mean, do you have people who handle that stuff?
Just business is hard. Business isn't easy. You know, you sit here now, you know, we're talking about it. It's fun to talk about, but the everyday grind of getting this, you know, Diane's like my executioner. If I didn't have her, there would be no MVP. I mean, listen, Mo is great, but you need somebody that's going to execute the process. But business is hard. Business, I think everybody sees the ad on TV. They see the ad, they hear the ad on the radio, and they're like, man, this is where I want to get to. But all the works and the minutiae and all the grinding behind the scenes, that's what makes it happen, and everybody wants to do that.
It's so unusual to meet an athlete whose ego is out of the way, like yours seems to be, with what you've just said. Listen, very rare.
If I could just hide and you could hear my voice and things would get done, I would do that. You know what I mean? I'm actually the MVP model. Do I look like a model to you?
Right.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. But, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I'll do whatever I have to do to help the brand grow. But I know I'm just a piece of the puzzle that makes the success of anything I've been involved with. And it's not just who you are. You need good people.
How does MVP find new customers? How do you grow this business?
Listen, it's grassroots. We got to go out. We got to get ourselves branded. And we got this hat here. And, you know, listen, we're dying in. We're thinking, all right, we got to get this style. We got to get this zipper. We got to get this print. But the main thing is we got to brand the MVP name and keep that branded. Get out there. We're social media. We're on social media. You know, we're in Facebook. We're Instagram. All the stuff I know nothing about, believe it or not. But I don't. But we're doing all that different stuff. But it's all about getting the MVP brand name out there, letting the customer know that they have the ability to have style. It's going to be classy, and we're made in America, which is, I think, is the other great force for us. Our materials are great. You know, the way our product feels is great. So between all those different things, I think now for us, we've been in it like, you know, 16, 17 months. It's just getting the brand out there, getting people to understand it and know it, and I think it'll take off.
You're like a kid playing baseball.
No, not like that.
In your excitement about this business.
Well, listen, I'm like the A-team. You know, I love it when a good plan comes together. You know what I mean? Hopefully this will do that.
I talked to a friend who's covered the Boston Red Sox for many years, and I told him I'm going to be talking to Mo Vaughn tomorrow, and you know what he said? He's a very honest guy. That's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.